Hello and welcome. This is Impact Yobe, your weekly roundup of news and activities in the pride of the Sahel. My name is Femi Akonde. Thank you for joining us.
COVID-19 pandemic has no doubt disrupted learning and teaching process across states in the country. In the quest to sustain the learning process in Yobe State, Governor Mai Mala Buni initiated online learning for primary and secondary school students across the state. The government also awarded best students who undertook an online test in English, biology, chemistry and mathematics. Speaking with Impact Yobe crew, the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education in the state says in no time Yobe State would be at the top of the education ladder, not just in the north but in Nigeria at large.
Sustain it. His Excellency, in his quest to better the performance of our children in Yobe State, decided that this online training should continue as long as our schools are closed down. And that is what we have been doing actually for the past 3 months. And this program has been yielding positive results. Parents are of tremendous appreciation to His Excellency for his zeal to better education in Yobe State, for his determination to revitalize our ailing education. Yobe State, according to His Excellency, will continue to come up with programs that are student-friendly, programs that will make these students realize their potentialities, programs that will make our performance in the forthcoming WAEC and NECO examination a better performance, a performance that will lift us from the bottom of the educational ladder to the top of the educational ladder.
The students who were selected from different local government areas appreciate Governor Buni for the online initiative. They pray for wisdom and divine protection for the governor.
The best way to go is always to have that legacy in education. And also his effort of renovating schools and also providing textbooks to our school also affected our learning process. We pray that, and this thing I'm saying is not just something that I witness it alone, but something that every student of Yobe State can testify. Your Excellency, sir, we pray that may the Almighty Allah on His infinite mercy keep you healthy and give you the wisdom to initiate even more developmental projects on education sector in Yobe State.
Mala Buni have tried a lot throughout his tenure. Of all we see, of course, we really appreciate his efforts. And what we have to say is, may God give him ability and wisdom to do all the good he wish. And His Excellency, we are very sure that you are a very good leader, not a ruler, because a ruler are dictators. But you are a leader who have extreme God-fearing. We really appreciate your effort, and may God help you and guide you throughout your tenure.
We wish to extend our gratitude to the Yobe State government under the leadership of His Excellency, the Governor of Yobe State, Governor Mai Mala Buni, the Chiroma of Gujiba, for providing all the necessary resources for this program to take place.
Yobe State has officially launched its virtual court sitting, which was initiated by the late Chief Judge Musa Nabaruma. At the opening ceremony in Damaturu, the new Chief Judge expressed his regret over the absence of the initiator of the virtual sitting, who was unable to witness the maiden event.
2 weeks to his death, my Lord Honorable Justice Musa Nabaruma of blessed memory gave approval for the remote court proceedings, otherwise known as virtual court hearings in Yobe State. It is rather sad that His Lordship would not live to see this gigantic step through. It was during his tenure that the Chief Registrar of the High Court was appointed by the State Judicial Service Commission. Similarly, 2 magistrates were equally appointed by the JSC, and all were to be sworn in at a date to be fixed by His Lordship.
2 magistrates and a registrar were sworn in by the Chief Judge Kashim Kaigama. He admonished them not to allow their personal interests to override their official decisions.
Since that are just sworn in, my advice to you is to maintain high standard of decency, decorum, and discipline. Sham bribery and corruption in all its ramifications, and invite the culture of hard work for the task ahead of you is onerous.
Following the displacement caused by windstorm in Yobe State, more than 400 households have benefited from the building materials donated by the state government. Donating the items to the affected victims on behalf of the state government, the Executive Secretary to the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, says the directive was given by Governor Buni who sympathized with all affected victims of the storm.
Following the windstorm that affected over 450 households on 8th and 10th of June 2020, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Yobe State, approved the support to victims of windstorm. And we are today witnessing the second phase of the distribution. Actually, we categorize the victim into 3 categories. The first line was hit, who lost virtually everything. Elderly, their roof has blown off and the wall of the building has gone down. These are the first category and most priority.
My house was being destroyed, almost 3 bedrooms and a fallow. And it happens that I reported to the SEMA, and the SEMA went to the place probably where they have inspected everything. And I thank God that this government has volunteered and has enabled us to collect certain things that would enable us to repair our houses.
I say thank you for Governor. Thank you very well. She saved my life and my family. So I say thank you.
Yobe State government has condemned the rise in rape cases across the country and the state in particular. The Yobe State Commissioner for Information, Abdullahi Bego, expressed that Governor Mai Mala Buni has zero tolerance for rape and other sexual and gender-based violence in the state. He also noted that the Yobe State House of Assembly has passed into law life imprisonment for anyone found guilty of raping a minor and 25 years in prison for anyone found guilty of raping an adult.
The capacity of people to engage in rape here in Yobe State. Rape is a despicable and condemnable act by any measure, and we will not condone it here in Yobe State. His Excellency Governor Mai Mala Buni has said that there is zero tolerance. Absolutely zero tolerance for rape and other sexual and gender-based violence acts in Yobe State. So we're working to ensure, the state government is working to ensure that we do not have those cases, and that people who are apprehended and caught in the act, that the law takes its course. You may remember that here in Yobe State we have a law that has been passed by the Assembly and be assented, that stipulates life in prison for someone who engages in a rape.
We have 1 or 2 factors that serve as a challenge. One, in terms of the cultural values and norms of the society, play a vital role. And then another aspect is the stigma people may feel that they may pass through. But however, these are things that we need to overcome it, so that, because in the issue of rape and gender-based violence cases, it is only when it is reported and measures are taken that the perpetrators will now feel that, yes, there's a law that is actually binding to stop them.
Since the assumption of Governor Mai Mala Buni into office on the 29th of May 2019, his administration has embarked on an open-door policy by initiating a phone-in program that would give room to the electorate to hear their opinion and suggest to the government. Many have described the gesture by Governor Buni as a genuine democracy in display, as the people's problems were resolved through direct contact with Governor Buni on the radio program.
A transparent government the government that carries each and every person on board. You know, governance is something very difficult, very tedious. His Excellency had wanted to personally be seeing people. But if he says so, it means the government work could not go as it may require. Therefore, he opted on the funding program on YTV that people are free to call and ask questions and suggest. And if there's anywhere the government need to pay more attention, they will tell him. So I think this is a transparent and open government which carries the people along. The administration are open for you to say what you want to say for correctional purposes. His Excellency has maintained a kind of link between his humble self and the people of Yobe State. You will agree with me that on 2 occasions he was at the state radio answering questions directly from the people. It was a phone-in program, and people called and said their minds. People called to tell him areas that they feel government should intervene. And of course, he took notes of that. Where government is already intervening, it has been said, and where there are needs for, there is the need for government to come in. Of course, notes were taken. And it is a kind of direct contact with the people. This is an open door policy that His Excellency has always maintained. He gives people the opportunity to participate in government. By participation, I mean you give your input, and of course, if this is the wish of the people, and government comes in and to solve such problems. And I think this is one of the best we can have, a kind of interaction between the governor and the people.
So far has had at least 2 appearances on our state radio, and those were live appearances, and they were phone-in programs, and people had called in to ask questions, to make recommendations and observations. And one thing that His Excellency has assured the people of the state is that this will continue, that this will not be a one-off event, or will not be tied to some day marking democracy or something. This is something that is going to go forward on a regular basis at intervals, so that people have the chance to talk to the governor directly and the governor to respond to them directly. You know, His Excellency, as you have observed rightly, is someone who wants to engage with the people. He's someone who wants to hear directly from the people, what their concerns are, what their apprehensions are, what their observations are, so that those observations and concerns, that information will be a critical part of what he needs as he continues to govern the state on behalf of the people. His Excellency is committed to ensuring that people have access to government across the board. That is why he has tasked all senior government functionaries, including commissioners and other political appointees, to have this open door policy and to ensure that they can listen to people, that they can attend to people, so that going forward there is input from the people about the impact of government programs in their own lives.
APC stakeholders from the Northeast recently had a meeting in Yobe State to resolve the challenges bedeviling the party in the region and at the national level. In a speech, Governor Mai Malabuni noted that Yobe and Borno states are one. Therefore, no asunder should come in between the two. The governor also noted that the Yobe APC stakeholders and the Northeast at large have unanimously adopted Waziri Bulama as the substantive secretary.
Da na wakilai, sai shugaban jam'iyya, sai sakataren jam'iyya na ƙasa, su ne wanda jam'iyya bisa protocol na tsarin jam'iyya ta amince su zauna a high table. Wannan mu al'umman jihar Yobe, Allah cikin ikonsa da goyon baya da kuka bamu a matsayin shugabanni na wannan shiya, yau muna da mutum na 3 a jihar Yobe. So ba daidai ba ne kuma ba haɗin kai ba ne a ce jihar Borno sun nemi wani abu wanda mun san cewar ya dace mu yi a jam'iyyance mu ce kuma ba haka ba.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, who chaired the meeting, appealed to all aggrieved members to bury their hatchet for the interest of their great party, APC.
Sake ciki musamman saboda shi cutar nan ta COVID, taro irin wannan sai an masa damara shiri na musamman. Yan uwanmu da suke Zoom, inda duniyar lafiya na tabbata za su kasance a nan. Amma an takaita within this particular period.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum thanked all stakeholders that made the meeting a success and resolving their differences at the event.
May I, on behalf of the government and people of Borno State, convey our deepest gratitude to the stakeholders of the Northeast for nominating one of us, Architect Waziri Bulama, for the position of the National Secretary of the party. It is our sincere hope that this important gathering will endorse its nomination and indeed the nomination of the Deputy National Auditor and that of the Zonal Auditor. On our part, we shall ensure unity among ourselves, we shall ensure cohesion among ourselves, and we shall ensure commitment to the cause of the party. And we shall never let you down.
Welcome to the interview segment on Impact Yobe. Our guest today is the Secretary to the State Government, Baba Malam Wali MNI. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, welcome.
So your office is in charge of coordinating policy implementation of this administration. Now let's talk about the blueprint, or what is that overall program of Governor Mai Mala Buni's administration?
Well, you know, during his swearing-in ceremony on 29th of May 2019, His Excellency Honorable Mai Mala Buni stated in his inaugural speech the policy direction of his administration. And the whole policy gamut of the whole administration is to do with how to improve the livelihood of the people of Yobe State. And he started that one by having a plan. As you know, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So His Excellency directed during his administration, he carried out some important issues which directly affect the people of Yobe. One, in the area of education. Two, in the area of agriculture. Three, in the area of health. Four, in the infrastructure. And then lastly, which is also encompassing, is to do with the area of empowerment of the people and improving the lifestyle of the people. So on education, His Excellency directly, during his inaugural speech, declared state of emergency in the education. The market sector, which is one of the commercial sector in the country, which is Damatru, a new market is being constructed now, and the market is now going on. We hope by the end of by December, the market will be able to be completed. And we are proposing to have such markets in Potiskum, in Geshua this year, and then more markets will also be opened up. New industrial parks will have to be opened up, both in the states, initially maybe with Damatru. So this industrial park is to provide cluster of industries so that the agricultural production of the state will be improved.
But again, there's a new ministries were created, like the education sector. There was primary and basic education, and then there's a tertiary. Another ministry that was created is the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management. What informed the creation of that ministry?
What informed the creation of 4 additional ministries? One, as I mentioned, the Ministry of the Education, we have to address the education sector And one of the major problems we had is to do with the basic education. And that's why the Ministry of Education was splitted into basic education and higher education in order to address the challenges. The same thing with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Hitherto, it was only SEMA that has been dealing with the issues of humanitarian affairs. Yobe is one of the states that is bedeviled with this insurgency. A lot of people are being currently resettled. So what informed the ministry is, one, to have a ministry that will be coordinating the activities of all humanitarian agencies in the state. And that is one of the greatest responsibility of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, to address the challenges that are going on, especially in the issue of resettlement, rehabilitation, and the resettlement of our people in the rural areas.
Okay, if you look at the population of Yobe State, a large percentage of them are farmers, and they live in the rural areas. What's the government doing to reach out to them, to help their livelihood, and also connect them with the urban areas, especially with markets where they need to sell their produce?
As I mentioned right from the beginning, I said, we have already had an agricultural blueprint. Yobe is an agricultural state. With our population of 4 million, almost 85% of our people depend on agriculture. And our aim is to produce. That is why I said we have to improve the per capita production of our farmers per hectare and per capita. And the reason why this agricultural retail was convened and the establishment of the Technical Committee on Agriculture is to boost this production per capita and for export. We have vast a lot of land. Yobe is, because our population per person, per capita is very, very low in here. You have a lot of land. You have a lot of water resources, repairing rivers all over, which we can boost and you can tap for agricultural production in the state. And by doing this one, with the investment which the state government is now currently going into the agricultural production, in the next 1, 2, 3 years, we'll find that we'll produce enough food, not only for export, but also for domestic consumption, but for export.
Because I talked to us about programs of the government specifically targeted at lifting people out of poverty.
Agriculture is one of the greatest issues in order to lift our people from poverty. You improve their production, you improve their input. Both agriculture, and when I talk about agriculture, I'm talking about both agricultural, crop production, and the livestock. And in these areas, we are going to make a lot of investment. The second area we are going to do a lot of issues, which the state government is now currently doing, is go into training of our youth in various skills acquisition and training. And then the last one, which is educated, is also education. We are giving a lot of, education is key to all development. Without education, you cannot lift people from poverty.
Mm. Okay, let's talk about the civil service that is like the live wire of every administration. How robust in terms of strength now, how vibrant is the civil service in Yobe State, and what are some things put in place to also check excesses and instill discipline in the service?
Well, fortunately, Yobe is one of the states with a very robust, well-trained civil service. We had a lot of reforms both in the public financial system and the public service management system. This reform, which we fortunately had with the support of our donors, the DFID, EU, and all others, we have been able to reform the whole civil service. Now, if you go, and because of this reform, in the overall World Bank portfolio in the country, Yobe came first. And then in the overall also, not only in the country, we started with the Northeast, then to the North, and in the country. We get all the best in the overall work portfolio in terms of public service, in terms of management of the, especially in terms of the area of public service and public financial management system. So the Yobe State Civil Service has already been well reformed. We know we have a lot of challenges, especially in terms of cessation. We are now giving a lot of more emphasis into the middle cadre staff, because most of the top cadre staff that have been trained are now currently retiring. So we are giving much emphasis now to train the middle cabinet staff in the whole state so that they can also imbibe the system which has already been established.
Okay, so let's talk about the health sector. This is one sector that's also critical to the development of Yobe State, and it appears a lot of money has been pumped into that sector. What's the state of health right now in Yobe State?
We have been able to improve our improve the maternal and child health system in the state. The maternal and child mortality has already been reduced greatly in the state now with the reform. The reform in the health sector was carried out in 3 stages. Number 1, we started with the primary health care system. We are now having one effective primary health care per ward. Together with the support we got from the Saving 1 Million Life, and you remember, because of our support, His Excellency, the federal government and the World Bank gave us $29 million because of the reform we had in the health sector as our grant, because we became the overall pace in the country. So we are investing that $29 million into the reform into the health sector, especially in the area of improvement of primary health care in the state. We are currently improving about 51 health centers out of 158. Already 81 has already been improved. We are currently working on another 51, that making about 130 something, 132 or 133 primary health care centers out of the 178, which will be completely improved. And by 2021, all the primary health care centers will be upgraded to the minimum standard of primary health care in the whole country, which is being established by the National Primary Health Care Development Agency. He says we have already also, of recent, His Excellency has signed into law 3 bills. 1, the contributory health care system. 2, the drug management agency bill. These 2 bills will be able to improve the health system in the state. The contributory health care system will now, we are going to have, is just a social insurance system for health system that will be able to improve the health care system of not only the civil service, but any person who is interested in order to contribute, the state government is going to make additional contribution, and the system will improve that. So that the drugs will be provided to the communities at a very, very affordable rate, not as what it is being produced in the market. So that all this will be able to improve the health system in the state.
And that's our conversation with the Secretary to the State Government in Yobe State, Baba Malam Wali MNI, telling us about policies, plans, and programs of the Governor Mai Mala Buni's administration. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And that's our package this week. Until next week, when we come your way again with fresh news and updates from the Pride of the Sahel. The program has been Impact Yobe, and my name is Femi Akonde. See you next time.